The brand new Dallas Cowboys get their spurs in the National Football League as they take on a power-packed Pittsburgh Steelers team under the lights in the Cotton Bowl at Dallas. Eddie LeBaron puts the Cowboys on the touchdown trail in the opening period as he lassos Jim Doran. Doran, a 9-year National Football League veteran, outruns the Steelers secondary to complete a 75-yard touchdown run. The Cowboys go ahead 7-0. The little Baron, Eddie LeBaron, one of the smallest men ever to make the grade as a pro quarterback, again brings the Dallas Rooters to their feet as he connects cross-country with Frank Clark. Clark carries to the Steeler 10. LeBaron continues to riddle the Steeler umbrella as he hits Fred Dugan. Dugan makes a spectacular catch to give Dallas a 14-point advantage after 5 minutes of play. The Steelers mount a potent attack as Bobby Lane hits Jimmy Orr on the Cowboy 40. On this play, Lane breaks Sammy Baugh's all-time record for passing yardage. Lane, a former University of Texas star, finds Preston Carpenter open in the right flat. Carpenter eludes 2 defenders as he tight-ropes his way to score for the Steelers. They trail 14-7 after 1 quarter. A bullet pass from LeBaron to Fred Dugan ignites a Cowboy drive in the second quarter. Dugan's off on a 44-yard gain before the Steelers can catch him. Don McElhenney rides hard for the Cowboys and scores. They now lead by a 21-7 count. The Steelers storm back as Charlie Scales runs the draw play for a first down on the Dallas 36. Bobby Lane fakes, then fires to Jimmy Orr for a score as the Steelers draw close to the surprising Cowboys, who still lead 21-14 at halftime. The Steelers work an old Buddy Parker favorite as Tom Tracy connects with Buddy Dial on the halfback pass. Dial darts away from the Cowboys as he goes in to complete the 70-yard play. The game is all tied at 21 apiece. The Cowboys counter with LeBaron completing to Doran in the open. Doran goes all the way to put the Fighting Cowboys back on top at 28-21. Bobby Lane of the Steelers keeps the action fast and furious as he rifles a shot to Jimmy Orr. Orr shakes loose and gets to the Dallas 27. After absorbing a 15-yard penalty, Lane pinpoints Preston Carpenter on the dead run. Preston says goodbye to everyone as he gallops 48 yards to pay dirt. It's all even again after 3 periods, 28-28. In the final period, Lane and Carpenter team up once more to jolt the Cowboys as Carpenter runs roughshod. The old master, Bobby Lane, waits until Tom Tracy gets loose, then fires on target to his stocky halfback. Tom rockets across to score the winning touchdown of one of the most exciting games ever seen in the Cotton Bowl. The Steelers edge the Cowboys 35-28, and the debut of the National Football League in Dallas is a thrilling success. The New York Giants, with a perfect 2-0 record and tied with Cleveland for first place in the Eastern Conference, roll into Pitt Stadium for an important tussle with the explosive Pittsburgh Steelers before a crowd of more than 40,000. The Giants run into difficulty early in the first period. Joe Morrison attempts a pass on the halfback swing play. Steeler Dickie Megal intercepts as Pittsburgh sets up on the New York 36. Hard-running John Henry Johnson rams through a nice hole and gallops for 12 yards. From the 23, Tom Tracy takes a handoff and looks downfield to pass. Tracy finds Jimmy Orr loose in the end zone and hits him for the score. The Steelers take a 7-0 lead over New York. In the second quarter, the Giants get something going as Joe Morrison makes his way through the Steelers for 10 yards. New York has to settle for a Pat Summerall field goal. Pat perfect from the 41, and the Giants cut the Steeler lead to 7-3. Later in the quarter, the Steelers are deep in their own territory. John Henry Johnson is dropped in the end zone for a safety to make it Pittsburgh 7, New York 5. Giants with the ball again. George Shaw connects with Kyle Rote to move the pigskin to the Steeler 42. New York's all-pro halfback Frank Gifford moves the ball to the Pittsburgh 27 with this 9-yard charge. Shaw goes to the air again. He picks on Joe Morrison, and the speedy second-year man moves the ball close to the Steeler goal line. Shaw drops back and fires a bullet over the middle that Kyle Rote wraps up for the score. New York leads at halftime 12-7. Late in the third period, the Giant offense is rolling again. Charlie Connerly pegs to Joe Morrison. Joe shakes loose from one sure tackle, but loses the handle when he's hit by Dick Campbell. Dickie Megal latches on the wayward pigskin for the Steelers. Pittsburgh's passing master Bobby Lane goes to work, and the 13-year veteran hits Buddy Dial. Buddy breezes by the Giants on a 30-yard trip to the end zone as Pittsburgh regains the lead 14-12. The Giants can't move the ball, and the Steelers come storming back. Larry Krutko gains 17 big yards. Lane goes through the O-zone as he fires complete to Jimmy Orr on the New York 17-yard line. Lane, a fine runner, scoots up the middle for 13 yards, and the Steelers are on the Giant 4. That's as far as the big Giant line will allow, so Bert Retchishar splits the uprights on a 10-yard field goal as Pittsburgh extends its lead to 17-12. Charlie Connerly ignites a Giant drive with time running out in the game. Kyle Rote makes the catch and then laterals to Bob Schnelker, who rolls to the Steeler 44. With less than a minute to play, Connerly hoists a long aerial downfield. Frank Gifford makes a great catch and tumbles into the end zone with the winning touchdown. The Giants squeeze out a close 19-17 victory over the Steelers to retain their partial hold on first place in the Eastern Conference. Ford Field, which just saw the Pirates put on a heroic finish in the World Series, is ready for football as the Pittsburgh fans flock to see their Steelers tackle the St. Louis Cardinals. Each team is looking for its second victory of the season. The Steelers start things off in the first quarter with Bobby Lane passing to John Henry Johnson. Johnson rolls to the Cardinal 34. St. Louis won't yield another first down, but the Steelers manage 3 points as Bert Retchishar boots one over the bar from the 42. Another Retchishar boot makes it 6-0 after one period of play. It's the second quarter, and the Cardinals are on the attack. King Hill fires a fast one over the middle, but it's picked off by Dean Darby. Dean makes a nice return before he laterals to Dickie Megal. The Steelers are on the card 35. Steelers pull some trickery with Jimmy Orr taking the ball on an end-around play. Orr gallops all the way to the St. Louis 4-yard line. Tom Tracy tries the other side, and the chunky halfback chugs into the corner for the first touchdown of the game. It's Pittsburgh 13, St. Louis nothing. It's still 13-0 going into the third quarter. Bobby Lane dodges back for the Steelers and sends a sky-high pass in the direction of Buddy Dial. Buddy's camped under it for a 36-yard gain. The slow-motion camera catches an old pro at work. Bobby Lane stays in the cup as his Steelers give him beautiful protection. He finally fires to Buddy Dial, who's slanting across the middle. Dial never loses stride as he makes the catch and scores the second Pittsburgh touchdown. It's Steelers 20, Cardinals nothing. Retchishar kicks off for the Steelers. Willie West takes it 5 yards deep in the end zone and refuses to settle for a touchback. He has blockers in front of him, and off he goes. Willie wheels through the Steelers with the greatest of ease until he trips over his own blocker after an 84-yard return. The Cardinals have a golden opportunity, but the alert Steeler defense rises to the occasion. They jar the ball loose from Frank Mesnick, and Rudy Hayes flops on it in the end zone to take over for Pittsburgh. In the final quarter, the Cards show off their quarterback option play as George Izzo flips back to John Crow. Crow takes the Steeler defense wide on a nifty 25-yard cannon. Crow puts the Cards on the scoreboard with a great bit of broken field running. Trapped at the 5, he cuts back to score. Now it's Steelers 20, Cardinals 7. Rookie quarterback George Izzo is still piloting the Cards and looking like a veteran. Watch him pinpoint Sonny Randall for a 24-yard gain that makes it goal to go. Izzo hands to Frank Mesnick, and Frank bangs across the goal line. The Cardinals move closer to the Steelers at 20-14. But the Steelers have the last word today. They trot out a favorite Buddy Parker play with halfback Tom Tracy firing a pass downfield to Jimmy Orr. Orr romps in to polish off the 51-yard effort, and the Pittsburgh Steelers stay close to the Eastern Conference leaders by posting a log of 2 wins against 2 defeats with their 27-14 victory over the St. Louis Cards. Now is the time to purchase your season tickets for the 7 exciting Pittsburgh Steelers home games in 1961. Prices range from $42 for box seats in the second and third tiers to $21 for reserve seats in the end zone. You can also buy tickets at $35 and $28. Be sure of a good seat location by buying early. Remember that you can buy on the budget plan for as little as $4 monthly. Stop by our office at 139 6th Street in the Roosevelt Hotel or telephone Express 1-1200. Pittsburgh's Forbes Field is laden with snow as the newly crowned Eastern Conference champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, move into the Steel City, where the Steelers hope to reverse their loss to the Eagles earlier in the season. Buck Shaw's Eagles have racked up 9 straight wins en route to their first divisional title in 11 years. The Steelers take to the slopes early in the fray. Bobby Lane connects with Tom Tracy on a button hook over the middle. Tracy fights to get free, but Tom Brookshire makes the jarring tackle. Lane, who will go down as one of the National League's all-time greats, looks for a receiver. None's available, so Bobby totes the mail into the end zone himself. The Steelers warm to an early 7-0 lead. All Eagle flights are grounded, and here come the Steelers. Bobby Lane labels Jimmy Orr with a perfect strike. Brookshire makes the stop at the Eagle 11. The swing shift takes over as Bobby Lane tosses. John Henry Johnson stabs the leather with one hand, and the big fullback scoots across for the tally. The Eagles remain silent, and it's 13-0 Steelers after 1 period of play. The Eagle offense is still frozen. Norm Van Brocklin punts in the second quarter. The Dutchman's punt finds the coffin corner and goes out of bounds 2 feet from the flag. John Henry Johnson gets the Steelers moving as he blasts up the middle. The fans rise to their feet as John Henry breaks into the open. Johnson pulls the throttle on the Steelers Express and thunders for an 87-yard nonstop excursion to wind up in the touchdown terminal. The Steelers increase their bulge to 20 points. The Eagles are deep in their own nest. Billy Barnes passes on the halfback option. Dickie Meggle makes a sit-down interception. Meggle springs up and heads for the sideline. John Wittenborn stops the speedy Steeler 16 yards from the goal. John Henry Johnson continues to hammer the Eagles. John calls on Buddy Dow with a touchdown toss that mounts the total to 27 for Pittsburgh. Nothing for the Eagles at halftime. After a scoreless third period, Bobby Lane passes through the snowflakes toward Buddy Dial. Don the Blade Burrows intercepts and knifes his way for 15 yards. Sonny Jurgensen tries his hand at snowballing. Pete Retzlaff makes the catch and leads the Pittsburghers on a Murray chase before he's nudged out on the Eagle 47. Jurgensen backtracks and shoots a bullet to Tim Brown. The high-flying Eagle rookie from Ball State Teachers outruns the pack. Brown scores on a 53-yard play that puts the Eagles on the board, but the Steelers still hold sway, 27-7. Jurgensen, the former Duke All-American, continues to fire on target. He pinpoints Tommy McDonald with a bullet to the 7. Tim Brown follows the bull-like blocking of Jerry Hughes, number 65. Brown goes in for the touchdown, and the Eagles draw closer, 27-14. Jurgensen and Brown, a pair of second stringers, team up again to torment the Steelers. Watch Mr. Tim Brown as he puts on a brilliant display of broken field running on a snow-covered turf. George Tarasovic finally makes the stop after 52 yards. Jurgensen finishes the drive with a lob to Tommy McDonald. Tommy's touchdown gives the Eagles 21 points, but Father Time helps the Steelers hand their cross-state rivals their second loss in 11 games with a 27-21 victory over the Eastern Conference champion Eagles. The Pittsburgh Steelers journey to Washington's Griffith Stadium in search of their third victory of the season, but the Redskins, who tied the mighty New York Giants last week, are beginning to look mighty tough. In the first quarter, the Redskins are rolling as Ralph Guglielmi sends up a pass. Jim Pinoli pulls it down for a first down on the Steeler 10-yard line. Three plays later, fullback Johnny Olszewski swings left and knifes his way over tackle for a Redskin touchdown, and Washington takes an early 7-0 lead. Now it's Pittsburgh's turn. Tom Tracy takes Rudy Bukich's handoff and starts around the left side. The area becomes flooded with Redskins, so Tom changes direction. The maneuver pays off for the Steelers as Tracy rambles for 37 yards to the Redskins' 45. Bukich makes a good fake into the line and throws a swing pass out to Tracy. Tom has it, and the hard-running Steeler travels into the end zone for the touchdown, and Pittsburgh has tied it up at 7 points apiece. Both teams had a field goal in the second period to make it 10-all. In the third stanza, Guglielmi is still throwing, but the Steeler forward wall storms through. Guglielmi fumbles. Joe Louis pounces on the pigskin in the end zone, and the Steelers have a quick touchdown as they take over the lead 17-10. The Redskins are still full of determination as Ralph Guglielmi keeps throwing passes. Here he hits Joe Walton for 18 yards. The former Notre Dame All-American drops back again and lets fly with another aerial. This pass has touchdown written on it as Walton pulls it in and goes for the score. With a conversion, the count is once again balanced. Now it's 17-17. In the final period of play, Guglielmi has the Redskins on the rampage as he fires to Bill Anderson. This touchdown pass makes the score 24-17 in favor of the Skins. The Steelers add a field goal, but Washington still leads 24-20. The lead is short-lived as Rudy Bukich heaves a bomb complete to Buddy Dial, and Pittsburgh goes right back out in front, 27-24. The Redskins still have time late in the fourth quarter as Guglielmi gets off a pass, which Ed Verb gathers in. It's not close enough for a touchdown, but hot-footed Bob Kayat boots the ball between the uprights for a neat 43-yard field goal, which puts the final score on the board and earns the Skins a 27-27 tie with the Steelers. It's the second tie in 2 weeks for the Redskins, who are still looking for their second win of the season as they remain in fifth place behind the Steelers. The potent Pittsburgh Steelers, perennial spoilers in the Eastern Conference, are up and ready for the third-place Cleveland Browns. The Browns have carved out a 5-2 record and are driving to stay close to the front-running Eagles and Giants. Bobby Lane has his Steel City men on the move the second time they get the ball. Bobby hoists a pass to Buddy Dial at the Cleveland 40, and Buddy adds another 8 yards on a big Pittsburgh play. With Cleveland applying the rush, Lane hands to John Henry Johnson, and Johnson slants for 15 yards of Cleveland country. Lane drops back, and he's going to throw this time. His pass is aimed for Preston Carpenter. Carpenter has it and gets to the Cleveland 1. Browns brace, but John Henry Johnson drives over the goal line for the Steelers score. The second quarter is scoreless, and at halftime, Pittsburgh leads Cleveland 7-0. It's still 7-0 late in the third quarter as the defensive units star, but Cleveland's Jim Brown breaks things open with a 14-yard burst to the Steeler 25. Plum calls on his other great runner, Bobby Mitchell, and Bobby bolts over the left side for 15 yards. It's goal to go, Cleveland. The inspired Steelers push Cleveland back to the 12, and Sam Baker goes back to try a field goal. His 19-yard effort is perfect to make it 7-3 Steelers going into the final quarter. The Browns go all out to salvage the game. Plum fakes beautifully, then hurls high and far. Bobby Mitchell has his defender beaten, gathers in the ball for a 55-yard gain. Cleveland's on the Steeler 25. Milt Plum drops back and fakes the Steelers dizzy before whipping the ball to Rich Kreitling in the end zone. Cleveland goes ahead 10-7 with about 6 minutes left to play. 6 minutes is plenty of time for Bobby Lane and his band. Lane lobs the screen pass to John Henry Johnson, and Johnson lugs it for 11 yards as Pittsburgh moves across midfield. Lane is one of the greatest clutch quarterbacks in the business. Bobby spots Preston Carpenter, and Carpenter proves a tough man to bring down. He gets all the way to the Cleveland 12. Lane lights the fuse by giving the ball to Tom the Bomb Tracy. Tracy blasts into the corner of the end zone to put Pittsburgh back in the lead at 14-10. Now there are less than 3 minutes left. The Browns bid to come from behind. Plum triggers a long shot to Gern Negler, and Negler has it for a 27-yard gain. Plum's a cool customer as he steps back and rifles a pass to Leon Clark, who's nailed at the Pittsburgh 10. The Browns are mighty close to pulling this one out of the fire as Milt Plum fades and waits for his receivers to get clear. Leon Clark's open in the end zone and dives for the ball, but he can't convince the officials that he didn't trap the ball, and the Cleveland threat is dead. Pittsburgh's 14-10 victory puts Cleveland 2 full games off the pace in the East as the Steelers hope for a fast finish to improve their 3-5-1 line. The Washington Redskins know they're in for a stiff battle as they trot into Pittsburgh's Forbes Field. The Steel City men are fresh from a stunning upset over the Cleveland Browns, and they plan to make it 2 straight at the expense of the Redskins. The Steelers go right to work after the kickoff. Tom Tracy has plenty of power in front of him as he follows 2 burly blockers for an 18-yard gain. Bobby Lane isn't rattled by the Redskin rush as he takes his time and picks his receiver. Lane slingshots the ball over the middle to Preston Carpenter, and Preston bowls to the Redskin 31. It's Tom Tracy attempting a field goal from the Washington 37. Tracy's toe is true, and Pittsburgh assumes command at 3-0. Another Tracy boot makes it 6-0, and here come the Steelers on the final play of the first period. Preston Carpenter's on the receiving end of this lane pass at the Redskin 46. Tom Tracy, who has scored all the Steeler points so far, racks up 6 more with a twisting 28-yard run through the Redskins to cross the goal line standing up. Lane's conversion makes it 13-0 Steelers, and that's the way it stands at the half. In the third quarter, Bobby Lane's pitching for Pittsburgh again. This one will have to be scored as a wild pitch. Rod Breedlove intercepts for Washington and gets out to the Steeler 49. Ralph Guglielmi takes control with a masterful hand. Redskin Ralph fires high and long to Dick James, who takes the ball in full stride to go in for a 49-yard touchdown. The Steeler lead is cut to a precarious 13-7. The Steelers boast one of the best offensive lines in the business, and they make a beautiful hole for John Henry Johnson. John Henry hammers out a 34-yard gain. The Redskins ambush the Steeler attack, and Lane tries his luck with a field goal attempt. It's good, and Pittsburgh gets a little insurance with a 16-7 edge. The Skins set out to try to cut that lead with Ralph Guglielmi throwing. Bill Anderson takes Ralph's toss and races away to a 43-yard gain. It's first down on the Pittsburgh 22. Drive carries into the fourth quarter, but fourth down finds Bob Kayat attempting a field goal. It's perfect to make the score read Pittsburgh 16, Redskins 10. The Steelers try to retaliate as they hand the ball to versatile Tom Tracy. Tracy turns passer and hoists the ball to Buddy Dial for a 41-yard pickup. Pittsburgh fools the on-rushing Redskins with a double reverse. Preston Carpenter winds up with the ball and circles left end for a 20-yard gain. It's goal to go, and Lane hands to Tom Tracy again, but Redskin rookie Andy Stinchula has the play diagnosed and puts the arm on Tom for a 13-yard loss. On 4th and 18, Tracy kicks his third field goal from the 25 to boost his personal point total to 15, while the Steelers take a 19-10 lead. Later in the period, Bobby Lane retreats as the Redskins give chase, then flips over their heads to his fullback, John Henry Johnson. John Henry has a screen of blockers, and he barrels to the Redskin 24. It's Lane's turn to try a field goal. Bobby doesn't miss as he scores the Steelers' final point. Pittsburgh's 22-10 victory gives the Steelers 2 in a row as they try to overtake the fourth-place Cardinals in the Eastern Conference. In 1961, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be playing 7 home games. Be sure to get your season tickets early. Our budget plan puts the season tickets in your pocket for as little as $4 a month. Steeler headquarters are at 139 6th Street, Telephone Express 1-1200.